All right, guys, I will let you have at it in regards to what you want to see out of this coaching staff. Of course, you got a quarterback battle that is front and center. It seems like Sam Ellinger's had the job for about 12 years. And just in regards to this football team, this is an intriguing situation for anybody who loves college football, and especially the marquee brands. This is about as fascinating as it gets, because you've got this blue blood program who's been underachieving. I've discussed many times with Steve. I thought Tom Herman was the right guy for the job. I thought he was a good hire. I thought he did decent work there, but didn't meet the expectations of most. That's a debatable point, but for most Texas people in college football nation, did not meet the expectations. You've got an all-time great player in Sam Ehlinger moving on. You got this Steve Sarkisian, who I would argue didn't get this job based on his performance at USC or Washington. Actually, his predecessors and successors both performed better at those two schools than he did, but he's got the Nick Saban touch running that prolific offense there at Alabama, and all that he learned, hopefully, from his first two stops. And again, just the Texas power, the brand, the facilities, the recruiting, can it all come together and work under Sark, Steve? It should be fascinating.
Yes, especially with Sarkisian. You've seen him explain his offense at clinics too before. So I think it's going to be installing a new type of offensive system at Texas, which Texas fans have longed for a long time. I mean, how many Texas tweets have you seen about stop running wide receiver screens every single play and all those predictable things? So I think they'll be able to go a little more vertical with Texas. We'll probably delve into the QB discussion later, but when I'm talking about vertical passing, I was really impressed what I saw with Casey Thompson in the Alamo. Because I thought Sam Ehlinger was a great quarterback, but I never really thought he had that vertical layer to his game that Casey Thompson has. And I think Thompson's going to be the guy when they play Louisiana, at least on week 1, similar to how they started Buechele over a true freshman Ehlinger a few years ago against Maryland. But I think that revolutionizing this offense under Steve Sarkisian, and he brought in Kyle Flood, former Rutgers coach. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to seeing this season, is just running better, different types of plays, seeing like what Alabama, the concepts they ran against Ohio State last year in the national championship.
Yeah, so definitely, man. So Steve, I am, just looking forward to see, Coach Sark's mantra, right? The all gas, no brakes. There have been too many times over the past 7 years where Texas would have a lead and we would just ease up off the gas. And that should be something that never happens here at Texas with the amount of talent that we have here, right? So, this all gas, no brakes mantra, this is something that has to come, to Texas right now, because we can get leads here and we need to keep pushing on the pedal and make these guys tap out. And that's something that Texas really hasn't done, honestly, guys, in like 7 years. So we got to get that back. We got the talent here on campus. We got the wide receivers. We got Bijan Robinson, who's definitely, I'm going to go ahead and say it, a top 5, back in the country, and possibly the best back here in the conference. So we got the offensive skill talent. It's just a matter of having the coach that can get the guys in the right spot and get them, just to put points on the board and to keep wanting to put points on the board and never slow down.
You mentioned Bijan. That's one thing I think is going to be interesting this year, is ever since Deontay Foreman left, it feels like Texas has had a running back by committee with nobody coming up and taking the job. I mean, we saw Keontae Ingram,
Daniel Young.
Johnson would be a good secondary back this year, maybe in yardage situations. But I'm excited for Texas to actually have a running back that feels like a star running back, like a Breece Hall type, that could really contribute on offense. You see what some of these other programs in the conference has. Oklahoma's had them over the last few years, Joe Mixon. And every year. All at Iowa State. And now Texas finally seems to have their guy. Bijan Robinson, severely underplayed last year, averaged over 8 yards per carry. And he just seemed – he dominated the Alamo Bowl. He dominated pretty much every single time he touched the ball. And he's going to be one of those Heisman dark horses going into –
Hey, he's going to be a monster, man. So what Tom Herman did last year was so similar to what Mac Brown did with Cedric Benson's, his first year. He didn't play Cedric Benson until after that OU game, right? And so everybody wanted to see Ced play, and he didn't play him. And once he did finally play him, Cedric Benson got 1,000 yards that season. And it's one of those seasons that's like, what you know, like what actually could have been for that season if Ced would have played the whole season, right? And the same thing last year. If Bijan would have played from game one and started, you know, Tom Herman might still be coaching here. You know, like he is that kind of talent to where, you know, anytime he gets the ball, like you say, Steve, it's like 8 yards to carry. You know, it's like he's just magical with the ball in his hands, man. So I am so pumped up just to see what he's going to do this year also.